Hi guys, I am back with episode number 8 of my Disney trip, and these are more pocket pages that I did. This time I am using a little bit different pocket page. It has a 6 by 12, I think. Yes, 6 by 12 pocket at the top, and then it has three 4 by 6s at the bottom. So I wanted to work with this page because I had some of these in my stash and I wanted to get them used up. So what I decided to do is I had these two photos and this one 4 by 6 card, and I just trimmed down the photos and the card, and then I mounted them on white cardstock and added them up here kind of just in a little back and forth kind of a motion, just so it showed a little motion in the layout. And so I will just trim off the excess there. So you can see I just glued them down first and then trimmed them out. And then I kind of like how the edges kind of overhang the little piece of paper here. So I thought that turned out really cute, and I like the contrast of the black in the background, and I'm just kind of fudging with these a little bit to make sure they lay nicely. And then I have these other two photos and this really super cute Mickey die cut. I think I mentioned in a previous video that one of my friends went to Disney maybe a year or two before I did, and she cut out a bunch of Disney characters and things like that, and some of the ones that she had she didn't use, so she gifted them to me. So I was super excited that I was able to use them in my layout, and this is one of them, this Mickey chef. And we did go see Chef Mickey. This little trip was super awesome. We got there super early, and she was on there for her birthday, the whole Disney trip. And they asked her if she wanted to open the restaurant up. So that was super, super fun. And she was able to karate chop those red, what are those called? Not banners, but those red velvet lines, I guess, that open the restaurant. So she was able to karate chop them in half and then lead everybody in the restaurant. So that was really super fun for her. And I was glad I was able to get those photos. And so that Mickey, you can definitely tell he is super big and he's not going to fit anywhere in that pocket. So what I wanted to do was I added that strip of black and white at the bottom of that blue piece of paper, and I wanted to have that there so he had just kind of something to stand on. Otherwise he looked a little floaty. And what I will end up doing is I'll put the cards and everything in the pocket or page protectors, and then that Mickey Mouse will just be adhered on the outside of the page protector. And so if you have bigger embellishments like that and you're doing these pocket pages, that's a good way to be able to still use those big embellishments, but not feel like you have to cut them down or something like that. So that worked perfectly for this particular layout. Besides that Mickey, I've just kind of did a little bit more on the page, and I added some balloons and some die cuts and things like that, and then that finished the page off. So now I'm on to the next page. This is the back side of that previous page, so it has the same layout. And I just took these 4 by 6 photos, I trimmed them down, and then I mounted them on black cardstock. And then I'm just gluing them all down to this top piece of paper here. And I'll do some more embellishments in a little bit on that, but I'm going to move to this magic card now. This is the stamp set that I know I've mentioned in a previous video. This is the L Studio stamp set. I think it's something like Title Builders or something like that. If you guys are interested in the name of the stamp set, I can definitely let you guys know. Just leave a comment below and let me know that's something you're interested in. And it was a stamp set that my friend was letting me borrow at the crop, and I accidentally took it home with me. I swear it was an accident. I didn't mean to. She left earlier than me, and it was left in a pile of stuff like you have when you do scrapbooking. There's piles everywhere, and this just happened to be stuck in one of those piles. So I just took my Brilliance white and stamped it on black cardstock, added a little bit of journaling with my white gel pen, and then I'm kind of trying to figure out where on this card it's going to fit best. So I did trim off the bottom because I wanted that kind of to look over on the edge of something, and I put it there. I didn't really like it there, but then when I tried to pull it up, it just wasn't going to come up, so I figured it's just going to stay there. It's no big deal. So here I'm working back on that top page, or top part of the page. I pulled that scallop border from the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and then I'm kind of deciding, do I want this magic or do I want the documented? And I end up going with the documented, and I like that better. I'm going to add some little word stickers there, and I think a little blue heart here in a little bit to just doll it up a bit. So I can't remember what that little word strip says, and I'm kind of covering it up now. Something love, but I can't remember. Mouse love, maybe? That might have been what it is. So I'm just using the little 4 by 6 sticker sheets that came in the Say Cheese and Say Cheese 2 packs, and I'm taking these little word stickers and trying to figure out where it will look best on the page. I then also pulled out this little chipboard piece. I'm trying to figure out if I want the B or the F. I like the yellow better since I had quite a bit of black on the top. So I'm going to go with that one. And what I like to do with these chipboard pieces is I always add extra glue, whether it's a liquid or a dry glue. I always add extra glue to the chipboard pieces because 9 times out of 10 they're going to end up in the bottom of my page protector. So I highly recommend adding just a little bit of extra adhesive to any of those chipboard pieces. So now I'm just adding these cute little sticker buttons. I had to pop out the little holes in the middle to make them look like buttons. There's that blue little heart in the top corner, and then I have a star that I'm going to add and another star over here by the mini. And I think that is almost done on this page. Yep. So now this page, I am going to do a lot of stamping, or at least stamping for this one little card here. So that magic Polaroid frame thing, I'm going to work with that one a lot and do a lot of stamping. So I'm going to work on this tag, top of the tag first, but then I'll come back to that. So this top of the tag is just from the L Studio stamp set again, and I stamped it with some Stampin' Up! Ink, and then I wanted to add some white embossing powder just for some extra texture. And so I took this stamp set that says documented. I'm going to use some white ultrafine embossing powder, and then I'm just going to add that to the bottom of the tag. I think that turns out really cute, and I like the shininess it gives that and just something different. I didn't do a ton of embossing, I think, in this album that I remember, but I want to do a little bit of it just again, just for some different effects. I'm going to glue that down, but before I do that, I'm going to punch a hole in the top of that tag, and I'm going to add a little bit of twine. I believe it's a Recollections twine that I got from Michaels, and it is a bit thicker, and I like it. I think I used it in some of my Disney album, or not Disney, I'm sorry, December Daily albums. But I really like it. It adds some really nice contrast with teal or turquoise. That's one thing I do like, that combination of teal or turquoise with red. I think it really plays off each other very well. So now I'm going to mess with that frame that I talked about a little earlier, and I'm going to tell you guys right now that this layout, I work on a good chunk of it. I work on most of that little frame there, and then my video cuts off. I'm just not exactly sure what happened. I was having some problems. The phone that I'm using, it just wasn't downloading the videos as well as my other phone. So when I thought I had everything, I didn't always have everything. And because the videos were taking up so much storage on my phone, I was having to kind of download the videos and then delete them as I went. And I believe I deleted some of the footage, unfortunately, of this particular layout. But I am going to be doing a flip through later on once I get my 12 by 12 in the single pages done. And then once that's done, I'll show you that flip through. And then I'll be able to show you this page a little bit more in depth. So I do apologize for not catching that, but you'll see a little bit of this this card being done, and then I start working on stamping for some other embellishments I'm going to do on the page, but that's kind of when the video gets cut off. But for now, I had this brilliant idea in my head, you know how you normally do, and then when you try to actually do it, you're like, wah, wah, didn't quite work the way I thought. I end up liking this, but it just didn't work as well as I was expecting. So I stamped the castle with some light blue ink, and then I immediately put embossing powder over it. And because I did on vellum, that ink stayed wet for a bit, and then I embossed it so it's a shiny blue color. So if you're ever wanting to use like a colored ink and do clear embossing on it, that's how you can do that. So I had some clear embossing, and then I also did an embossing with those polka dots exactly the same way. I just stamped them with a colored ink, and then I used a clear embossing powder so that, basically you just need a clear embossing powder and then you can get all different colors with your stamped images. So I did that, and then I ended up just cutting them out and kind of pasting them around the card. So here's where the video is going to cut off. I made some of these stamped embellishments to decorate the page, and I will show you those definitely when I do the flip through. So on to the next page. Next, this page is kind of where I start losing a bit of my mojo. I think, I've done several pages at this point. I was trying to do a lot of them in kind of a short period of time, and this is what I kind of feared when I was going to start doing this album, is that I knew I wasn't going to stop until I finished, and I didn't want to start another project until I finished. So therefore, I felt like I had to just keep doing this. And that's just how I am. I don't like to start something without finishing something else. So it's about this point in my layouts that I'm just kind of like, oh my God, like Another Disney page, another Disney page. How many more Disney pages do I have left? Oh my God, I still have a lot of Disney pages left. So I think kind of right around this page or maybe a page after that, I'm starting to really struggle. Sometimes, you don't have the same new ideas. You can't think of new things. You want to do something different on each page, but you've been using the same embellishments. You are starting to get limited on your embellishments. So I did struggle a bit starting right around this point. So you may kind of see that in my layouts. And then sometimes my layouts got a lot more simple, which isn't a bad thing. It's just I can tell it's kind of happens in December Daily too, where you're all robust and you're gun ho at the very beginning. You're doing all this embellishment and all this fun stuff and all this stitching and da 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 da. And then towards the end of your book, you're like, yeah, I'm just happy I'm done. So you can kind of see how if you're doing an album, or you can see how when I do an album, that it's all like real pretty and embellished and blah at the beginning, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I can tell you're getting tired of this. Your embellishments really slow down. But I think that's just how things go. I think if I kind of mix it up and I did different pages, or I did Disney and then I did something else and I came back to Disney, they probably wouldn't be like that. But like I said, when I start something like this, I just like to finish, and that was kind of my fear and why it's taken me 4 years to actually work on this album. So anyway, the rest of this page is just kind of fiddling around with some of the stickers and things. That's pretty much where it's going to end up. I really like how this looks. I didn't feel like it needed a ton more. So you're going to see me do just a little bit more, and then I'm going to call this particular layout done. So while I am finishing that up, oh, and there's some stitching. So I did do some fancy stitching on this one. Not really fancy, but stitching on this one so I can add a little texture to it. But while I'm finishing this up, I just want to thank you guys so much for all your sweet comments. I really appreciate you guys watching the videos. It sounds like you guys are mostly enjoying the videos, liking the layouts and the pocket pages and things. If you have any other comments, please leave them below. I super love hearing from you guys. Let me know, are you going to Disney soon? Have you already went to Disney and you're planning on scrapping the album? Are you guys going to be using like traditional Disney colors and stickers like I did? Or are you going to do something completely different so it doesn't have that Disney looking theme to the embellishments? I'd really like to hear about that below too. But yeah, I definitely truly want to say I super appreciate everyone hanging in and watching the series and commenting and giving me thumbs up and all that. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And this is why I do these videos. So please definitely let me know what you'd like to see in the future too. And I will just keep making these Disney videos because it seems like people are enjoying them. So now I'm on this next page. I really like the contrast, like I said earlier in the video, between the red and the blue. So I really like this layout. It's super simple. I don't do a lot to it because I have a lot of photos, but I love how it turned out with the black, the red, and the turquoise. I think that's probably one of my favorite combinations of colors. So for this one, I had two tags. One was already, I believe, in the tag shape with the hole cut out, and the other one was not. So I just punched a hole in that one. I had that same recollection twine, but this time with a red and white. And then I made them look like tags, with the toppers and things like that. I stitched around the turquoise 3x4 cards with some black thread, and then I added these flowers. Now, I haven't used flowers like this in forever, but when I was at the crop when I first started this album, they had these loose flowers, and I thought, oh, that'd be kind of fun, just give it a little extra texture and dimension to one of my pages. So I ended up grabbing a few of those, and I think they turned out super cute on this page. And I had these really blingy kind of plasticky rhinestone things that I thought went really well with the blue cards that I was using on this page too. So I think the combination went really well. I only added two of the rhinestones right now, but I will go back and add rhinestones to the black flower on the bottom and the red flower on the top. But I'm right now just kind of fiddling and adding some more embellishments here and there with some word strips and things like that. And like I said, I super love this page. I must have had a little bit of mojo left when I did this because I really enjoyed this one. Sometimes simple is better too. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do a lot. That's one of the things I like about the pocket pages is you can feel like you accomplished a lot with not necessarily having to go all out and doing all kinds of mixed media and everything else. It feels like you can accomplish a lot and get a bunch of photos on a page and then have, this whole page to show for it. So that's one of the reasons I super like pocket pages and project life and things like that. I love 12 by 12 scrapbooking and art journaling and all that as well, but pocket pages are something that I feel like if you don't have a lot of time, you can sit down, and even if you do one card, you feel like you've kind of finished a layout, if you will. So if you guys don't have a lot of mojo, or if you don't feel like you have a lot of time to scrap, I think Project Life is actually a good thing. You don't have to do it by day or week. You can do it by months. You don't feel like you have to do like a two-page spread for every week. Definitely you can do it by month, but that way you can do like one card in a day. You're waiting for dinner to cook, you can do a card. I just really like that. And I think that's kind of why I started scrapbooking more at home, because when I did Project Life, I felt like I could accomplish something in a couple minutes or so. Anyway, on to the next page. This next page, you can see Kristoff down there in the bottom left is another one of those cricket, or not cricket, I'm sorry, what was it? Silhouette characters that my friend Aubrey had cut out and didn't use on her layout. So I added him in the bottom. And this is a cool tip if you have what is it, a punch that is not punching very well, like with a real thin paper, just back that vellum or the thin paper with a little bit heavier cardstock, and then it will punch out really nice. I might have said that in another video if I'm remembering. I can't remember. I know I've said it before in a video. I don't remember if it was a recent one or not, but that's a super awesome tip to get your punches to work on those like thinner pieces of paper. So I just stamped some hearts here with a stamp set that I had in my stash. I can't remember the brand. If you guys are curious about it, let me know in the comments below, and then I can look it up. I just don't know off the top of my head. So I'm just gluing these little cute little hearts around. I just did 3 of them, and then because this is frozen, you have to have snow, of course. So I have 2 snowflake punches. This little bitty tiny one that I got from Michael's in like the dollar spot or whatever it's called at Michael's, and then the Martha Stewart punch. And I am just punching these snowflakes with vellum and with white cardstock, and I'm sprinkling them around the page. And then I'll take my quick dry or my Scotch tacky glue and my fine liner bottle, and then glue them around using tweezers too to kind of help, so you don't have to try to hold those little pieces of snowflake. So I'm just going to finish up here, and then that's going to end it for this video. I want to thank you guys again so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the video today, and I will be back hopefully soon with, I think, maybe 2 more episodes or so. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.